How are you all this morning? Did you have a good night last night? Everyone ready for a day of stimulation? Well, we're going to kick that off today. It's our pleasure to be the host at this Flashpoint session. My name is Doug Keeley. I'm the CEO and chief storyteller of an organization called The Mark of a Leader.
And my name is Alan Elston. I'm a consultant storyteller with The Mark of a Leader. And today's Flashpoint is about bringing outside people into this room and into our industry to give us new ideas, fresh thinking, and to broaden our horizons.
So our role is as facilitators. Those of you who were at the chapter leader session yesterday will know that our model is storytelling, and we have the pleasure of doing a few story vignettes to introduce the speakers who are going to do their flashpoints. Our first speaker this morning is going to talk about inclusiveness, about how do you create events where everyone feels included, where you're respectful of the cultural diversity that's in the room. So I thought we'd kick this off with a story about one of the great leaders of cultural diversity and inclusiveness on the internet in the last decade or so, and his name is Matt Harding. And many of you may know Matt. As a young man, he lived in Los Angeles. He was a video game programmer, and like many young men, he thought he had a pretty good life, had it all figured out. He was making a living programming and playing video games. At 23, he moved to Australia, where he did what many young people do. He and a friend decided to take off and travel around Southeast Asia. When they got to Southeast Asia, his friend did something unusual. They were just backpacking like everyone else, but when they got to Hanoi, his friend took a video of Matt doing a goofy little dance in the streets of Hanoi, and they threw it up on the internet, where it got a lot of coverage. So they started shooting similar videos as they traveled, and they created a website called Where in the World is Matt? And it was a very popular website. He became a minor web celebrity. So they continued shooting these videos until he got a phone call one day from Stride Chewing Gum, who said, "We love your concept. We'll pay you to go and shoot better videos." He said, "Why not?" So his girlfriend this time came along as the cinematographer, and they shot higher quality videos of Matt traveling the world doing his little dance. Now, for the most part, as you can see, these dances involved him just doing his thing alone in front of famous landmarks. But when he got to Rwanda, there were no landmarks, no monuments. So he did his little dance in the streets and was joined by a bunch of kids. The kids changed Matt's life because they taught him the joy of inclusiveness. He discovered that it wasn't nearly as much fun doing his dance alone as it was with people. So he phoned Stride Gum and said, "We've got this all wrong. I got to go back out and do it again." So he traveled the world again, getting groups to come and join in his silly little dance with him. And the more he traveled, the bigger the groups got. And Matt discovered he had touched on something truly fundamental about human beings. Because in the simple act of dancing, he had created an opportunity for people to forget their personal problems and the challenges of their lives for a few moments, and to just have fun with other people. And that brought them all great joy. And his new video, which went up on Where in the World is Matt, became a huge hit, one of the most watched videos in the history of the internet, and Matt became a global internet rock star. All because a couple of kids in Rwanda in a street taught him something that hopefully all of us as event people know, that inclusiveness ultimately is the greatest human gift. And with that, we're going to introduce our first speaker this morning. We left Matt in the year 2008 having just discovered inclusiveness by doing his videos around the world instead of by himself with other people. And then he had a revelation when he went back home. He realized that he had been doing it all wrong once again because he had been making people do his dance. And he realized that true inclusiveness wasn't about that. If he was really to be inclusive, he should either do their dance or do something together. So he took all the money that he had made from Stride Gum, which wasn't that much, but it was enough, and he went out and he created another video, and this is what it looked like. Here's a clip.
I find my way home on the western wind to a place that was once my world. Back from in. And in the morning light, I'll remember as the sun will rise. We are all a glowing ember of a distant fire. We're gonna drift to light. We're gonna break the night, and we'll be with you light when we drift the light. Come on and drift the light. We're gonna break the night, and we'll be with you light. We're gonna drift the light. We're gonna break the night, and we'll see with you light when we drift the light. We're gonna drift the light. We're gonna break the night, and we'll see with you light. We're gonna drift the light.
Ladies and gentlemen, if a video game programmer can go out and take on the world with nothing but a little passion and create that, we in the event industry surely can do whatever we set our minds to do. And with that, over to you, Al.